All right, welcome back to On Track with Chris Thayer. Today I'm going to be going over one of the songs from the new album, One Foot in the Grave. And this song is called From Bad to Worse. So, just a little bit of background on how this was recorded. So, basically, I've been using Sonar X1 Producer for probably going on 20 years. And I realized it's probably time to update. And what forced me to, because you get it really good at something, you don't want to switch. You want to, keep doing what you're doing because it works. It's like the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I downloaded some plugins, some I can't remember the name of them, but some compressors, really good compressors, and I'll see them once we're in. And they wouldn't work on Sonar X1 Producer. So I was forced to update and upgrade to Cakewalk Sonar, which is actually free. So if you are looking to start recording, Cakewalk Sonar is free online. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to show you real quick. It does have a well, let's finish doing its scan. Let's open this up. But it'll ask you first time you open it in that session, do you want to use the free version or do you want to pony up to the big dog stuff? Honestly, I have no problem with the free version. I don't even know what the updated membership version gets you, but I don't really need it. So for free, price is great. I remember I must have spent $800 on Sonar Producer X1. So let's go through this track. We'll just start back from from the very beginning. Typically, I'll write the song with guitar, and occasionally I'll write something on piano. But most of this stuff I do on guitar, and then from there I'll obviously lay vocals or whatever, and then I'll go in and I do it with a click. That way I can go back and add stuff later and not have to worry about timing and all of that. So let me go back and we'll see what we've got going on with the drums. If there's any surprises, I'm pretty sure this one was fairly straightforward. Not a lot of surprises on the drums. Let's take a look. Yeah, so I just basically mic'd up the drum kit. I actually have a lot of different drum mics, but I've been using my Hi-O Sound drum package for the most part for the last, I don't know how many years, 15 years. But it's a very standard drum track, no real bells and whistles. I did use some of the different compressors, the CLA compressors. So if you're looking at trying to find some cool plugins, the CLA Classic Compressor 76 has great plugin presets. And I just kind of start there and start adjusting from there. And then if there's any EQing I need to do, I'll just use the stock EQ in there. 76 again on the snare. Did I put anything? Same thing there. I basically ran the 76 through most of the tracks. Now on the toms, I use the CLA 3A. Just a slightly different compressor, a little more simplified, I think. But yeah, for the most part, I kept it very, very uniform. Now, I did do a lot of stuff like dual compression and whatnot on some previous releases, but I wanted a little more raw sound for this album. So I used a lot less of that kind of stuff, like dual compression, and tried to keep things fairly raw. All right, let's start adding some parts. So I notice right here I've got 3 rhythm guitars, I've got a solo track, I've got nylon, I've got all kinds of stuff on this track. But I think the interesting thing about this track is it's got a Latin vibe. So a lot of what I wanted to do was create that feel by using a lot of percussion. So one of the first things you notice, you got that timbale in there. I bought timbales a couple years ago and I've maybe used them twice, but this is exactly the kind of situation that I want those for. We also have some bongos here. Let's throw those into the mix. they're over here. Timbales are on this side. Let's see, what else do we have? Now I know there's some other percussion coming as we get to the next section. So let's open those up. So you got some shakers. You got the fish. Now I also have tambourine. I'm guessing the tambourine was only on like the choruses and the solo. There's also a cowbell in here too. And I'm pretty sure I did kind of a war vibe with that, where it's on the choruses and possibly on the solos. Let's see what's coming. Here we go. There's the tambourine. Now this is the pre-chorus. And you can see all of the percussion starts to get a little more interesting as we hit the choruses. And there's that cowbell. Because you know, when you get that fever, there's only one cure. All right, so lots of fun stuff going on as far as drums go. Well, let's go back and let's clear all this off. Where's my controls? Let's see. Still learning how to use this thing. I don't know where my control panel is. It should be in window, I would think, but view, control bar, there it is. So there are some differences in this versus Sonar X1, and I'm still finding my way around. But I will say I'm glad I made the jump to the more modern stuff because I can do higher quality recording. But let's look at some of the key rhythm stuff happening other than drums. So we've got. So this is the main guitar part. So along with that, you've also got a piano track. Very subtle. And then to fill that out a little bit, give a little bit of glue, I like to use a Nord. Big fan of the B3 sound. Let's see if I played with the Leslie at all. I don't know that I did on this part. All right. So fun stuff. Let me go back and unmute all of that, and let's do it the opposite way. I'm going to let the guitars and the drums play out. The piano. We got some other rhythm guitar things there. We'll come to that when we get there. And let's leave all the percussion in there as well. So. You got that kick hitting those accents. Yeah, good stuff. Let's see what the bass is doing here and how that adds to the vibe. All right, let's add this bass in. So I remember I used a 5-string bass on this because I like this low note. It adds a little bit of growl when you get to those parts. Yeah. You got the bass and the kick pretty locked in. Now, if you listen closely, you will find some mistakes, some things that don't quite line up. And I know I've said this before, but I'm a firm believer that you have to leave some human elements to your song, otherwise it feels sort of stale. And that's especially important in this age of AI music. It can leave mistakes, but the mistakes just never seem to feel human. So I think those human bits are real nice. All right, so we've got a lead guitar here as well that comes in at the beginning. So I was trying to, give some throwback to Santana yeah. So one of the coolest parts of this, and it's not super subtle, but it definitely adds a lot to the tune, is in addition to all that, I threw in these harmonized nylon string parts. And they tend to accent the end of sections. So here they come here. And that gives it a little more of that Latin vibe. Now, I saw that there was another guitar rhythm part here. Let's see if we can figure out what's happening there. Oh, okay. I'm guessing. Oh, I don't even see it. Yeah, apparently there isn't one. Okay, so it was just a track. Wild. Okay, I thought for sure there was something on there. But here we go with the nylon string again. It kind of is silly, but it reminds me a little bit of like that Madonna tune, La Isla Bonita. Very fun stuff. So the first verse, keep it pretty tight. Not a lot of flash, just holding it down. Little arpeggios there. Cowbell. Nice big fat floor tom there. Yeah, and when you add that to the timbales, it's a nice big fat moment. I think there might even be a kick in there too. All right, let's skip ahead a little bit, see what else we've got. The nylon string gets a little more active in the second verse. Oh, actually, the nylon on the second verse takes over the little lead guitar part. Yeah, I forgot we did that. Yeah, fun stuff. But let's skip ahead. Let's see what else is going on here. I know that the guitars get a little heavier. Yeah. So yeah, some interesting things happening. We just look at the rhythm instruments. Then we're into the solo. So for the solo, I wanted a different tone. I wanted it like there was a special guest. Like he was biding his time. It was like, here's his moment. So it's definitely more of that Santana tone. Let's see what else we have going on. I feel like there's some other stuff happening here. Bongos. I see all these claps tracks, but those must be from a previous version of this. All right, let's go back to the top and let's see what's happening with the vocals. All right.
Something ain't quite right in the air tonight. Oh, Lord.
So yeah, you got that CLA 76 stereo compressor going. And actually, I just used a little Sonitis stock reverb. I didn't go with the fancy reverb on it. It's mostly dry, honestly. I don't know why it keeps locking up like that.
Expecting lovers better run for cover and hide, or they might find themselves all beaten and broken inside.
All right, let's get to where we have some background vocals and see what's going on.
It's pure. Well, it feels just like a curse.
Yeah, in context, you don't even notice all of that going on because it is such a big moment in the song. The end of the chorus really just hits, and having those interesting harmonies is kind of fun.
Is there nothing in life stays pure? Well, it feels just like a curse. It goes from
Yeah, it's subtle, very subtle. All right, let's go to where we have some more background vocal stuff happening. Let's see what's going on. Oh, same part.
Well, it feels just like a curse. It goes from bad to worse. From bad to worse.
All right, let's go to where the song builds toward the end, and let's see if there's anything.
And life stays pure.
I might need a restart here.
And life stays pure. Well, it feels just like a curse. The only thing for sure is that nothing in life stays pure. Well, it feels just like a curse. It goes from bad to worse.
So pretty straightforward. We're getting some glitchy digital stuff, but that's not in the track. That's actually from the computer. I admittedly have not been on the recording computer in a while. So yeah, that's kind of the song recording. It's not super fancy, but I think all of the little parts working together create a pretty fun and effective track. And I'm super happy with how it turned out. Now, a lot of the other songs are a little more, I'll say, producer-wise, a little more daring, maybe. But I think there's so much going on, little tiny things in here that that's a fun track. It's a fun track, and it was a lot of fun to make. So, yeah, that's From Bad to Worse off of the album One Foot in the Grave. If you like these things, obviously check it out on your favorite streaming service or even here on YouTube. And there's a lot more of these coming, so come on back.